So obviously, I mean, the big thing that happened, we did kind of a little mini episode about the Switch 2 has been announced. The big thing that happened in between is we had the whole tariff thing. I think when we recorded, we were able to talk about like the pre-orders were going to go live, then they got pulled.
Yeah.
Right.
They have now since, and that's kind of our breaking news for this episode, is they have now since revealed that the pre-orders are going to go live on April 24th. And the price of the console is going to remain the same, but all the accessories are going up. I believe pretty much all of them are like $5 more, except for the dock.
It's anywhere from like 5 to 10. So like,
yeah,
the Pro controller went up to
Amiibos.
85. I'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
The Joy-Cons went up to 95, which is insane.
Mm-hmm.
The charging grip thing went up to 40. The straps. This is the dumbest thing. The straps. So remember we were talking about last time, Matt, like, are they going to have things that go on it?
Right.
There are like two really thin things.
Okay.
Those went from $12.99 to $13.99. Because, Nintendo can't eat that fucking dollar on an accessory pair of straps. The wheel sets went up $5. Don't buy wheels. The camera went up to $55. So your shitty camera now costs more.
Yeah.
The dock went up $10, which... an extra dock is a luxury item. You don't necessarily need one, but $120 for an additional dock, that's an easy pass.
Yeah.
Carrying case and screen protector went up $5. Don't worry, some third-party company is going to make a shitload of carrying cases for this thing for half the price.
The other thing, I wouldn't buy the official Nintendo screen protector anyways.
No.
They're going to be third-party ones that are
better glass, stuff like that. If you really want one, buy the tempered glass ones. Those are the best ones.
As someone who's probably had the same piece of tempered glass on his for 8 years, that was not a first-party Nintendo.
No.
Thing.
That was the one thing we always told people, like, if you're buying one thing, if you're playing it in handheld, buy this. For your own sake, just buy this thing. And actually, it even worked if you're in a dock it all the time, because remember, the dock would sit too close to it.
Yes.
So you could maybe scratch it that way. All-in-one carrying case, $85. Don't buy an all-in-one carrying case from Nintendo for $85. Get it back.
Please don't.
The HC adapter goes up fucking $5. Like,
of course.
Just like Nintendo, the company that has zero debt, can't eat any of this.
Not at all.
Not even $1 on some fucking straps.
It's ridiculous.
And then
those straps cost a lot.
And then the Amiibos, according to Gamestop, this website is the only one who's updated them. They all went up $10. These Street Fighter Amiibo are now listed for $40 a piece. I was into them before. You can fuck right off for $40 a piece for Street Fighter Amiibo. That's ridiculous. The Zelda ones are all like $30. I might do those just because I have every other fucking Zelda Amiibo, but I don't need Street Fighter Amiibos for $40. And guess what? Since no one's gonna buy them, they'll go down in price.
Absolutely.
The Zelda ones will sell just because they do.
They will because they're Zelda.
But $40.
On the back of that, the Switch 2 tutorial game, the Welcome Tour, which they showed during the Direct, and stated during the Direct that it would cost money. The cost for that has been revealed to be $10. Again, this should be a pack-in with your system.
Kyle, people worked really hard on a tech demo for this.
You don't think
system.
people worked really hard on that Astrobot thing that came out with every PS5?
No, I don't think they did.
Like, that's just a celebration of Sony.
It's insane to me. My favorite thing about the whole thing was right after it got announced that it wouldn't be free, was Reggie just tweeting those stories about how he fought to make Wii Sports included and how he fought to include a remote with Wii Play and all that stuff. And like basically just the greatest hits of everything he ever did right for that company. And how it's the exact opposite of everything they're doing now.
It is, absolutely. You had thrown this in here about the Rune Factory.
This is bad because this sets a bad precedent because
it does.
We talked about it the last episode about were these carts going to be different or not? What's going to prevent you from putting a Switch 2 cart into a Switch 1? What happens if you do? And then it came out a little bit after that, I think like last week, where it turns out the back of the carts actually are different and they have like a weird kind of like loop cut in them. So I thought, oh, maybe that's what'll do it. Nah, because now this new Rune Factory game, you can just put the Switch 2 card in your Switch 1 and the Switch 1 version of the game plays.
Okay.
The fuck are we doing?
That's dumb.
what I mean, I guess from their standpoint, I get that they wouldn't want to print maybe 2 copies of this, but why not just print a Switch 1 copy?
Yeah.
And put it in a case that was. The cases need to say like compatible with Switch 1 and 2 if they're going to do this.
It does.
Because this is just going to be confusing. Is this going to come in a Switch 2 case?
And how many other games are going to follow this pattern?
And again, if they're going to do it, that means it's... And them doing it means it's possible. It's not necessarily that other people are going to do it, but it's possible. They're
100%.
proving that it works. But what's the case going to look like?
Yeah.
It's just... We're fucking this message up more and more and more as it goes on. And... Like the thing is like they clearly just don't care because they know it doesn't matter. None of this matters.
Not at all.
And I'm gonna bump it up here with all the other Switch stuff, but I had to put this in here because this broke a couple hours ago, which we're gonna put as the GameStop dumbass move of the week. Which is so they not only announced obviously they're going to be participating in the pre-orders and stuff, but they're going to offer people a Switch to Switch 2 transfer, including the midnight releases that they're going to have for the system, which will be midnight on the East Coast, 11 o'clock right. Central, and so on. But this is very, very bad because it's not going to work. It's Nintendo, and it's just I cannot see this being a good thing.
Not at all.
There's a lot of things that are going to make this bad. And number one is I get where they're coming from to tell you that April 24th is when stuff's going to be available. Mm-hmm. It's going to be available on the website, which, pro tip, don't even fucking waste your time.
Don't waste
trying to buy a Switch 2 on the website. Don't even bother. Because it's not going to happen for most people. Or, you're going to be able to go to your GameStop at 11 a.m. when they open and reserve one. I got some terrible news from you from an inside source. They still don't know allocations. They've been told they might know them on the 23rd.
That's
you may
bad.
know that as the day fucking before. And
are you telling me that rumor that every store is going to get 100 is not real?
I saw that thing going around. I laughed.
There's no
I told you immediately,
way.
like 100, please.
There's no fucking way.
No, because well, here's how this is going to run. You're gonna roll up to your GameStop at 10:30, and you're gonna be the 50th person in line.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're going to reserve it, or when they get, well, let's be optimistic, right? Let's say 30. 30 seems like possible.
I think that's high,
but it's possible, right?
It's possible. I would say.
Hey, man, they just closed a shitload of stores, so maybe the allocation got sent to everybody else.
That is the only reason why that would be possible.
Also,
I would cut that in half.
Also, not every store is getting 30.
No,
big tier stores, 100, 200. Your store, where it's the only one within 50 miles of civilization, is getting 5, maybe.
Yeah.
So when you roll up and you see the lines 50 deep, you could probably get back in your car and go home. That's another pro tip for you.
I would say another pro tip, because we did this. I remember doing this with the Switch, and we probably did it with PS4 and Xbox One. The PS4 and Xbox One was different because they kept turning those on and off.
That was a bad one, yeah.
The Switch, though, I remember we put a sign, I think, in the door that said, like, this is the allocation amount we will have.
Yeah, because remember there were the two versions. So we were like, we didn't get very many. It was like 8 and 5 or something. It wasn't a lot.
Something like that. Well, yeah, because there was like 8 with the colored Joy-Cons and then 5 with the black.
Well, and here's the other industry secret. Employees are already planning to reserve them before the doors are open.
Yeah,
so
that's how that always works.
We'll take whatever number you think they're getting.
Subtract 3 to 4.
or in some cases, 5, 6, 7, 8, if they're trying to get them for other people who don't work there.
Exactly.
Because guess what? That's happening too.
Absolutely.
Just trying to be realistic about what you should expect if you've never been through this before. Like you said, when we did the thing and we had 8 and 5, we actually had like 12 and 6 because I got one, you got one. Other people we knew got some. And yes, those were reserved before the doors were open. Oops.
Literally 2 minutes before the doors open.
Let's say this is me and I'm still running my store. And let's say I get 30. All right, I've got to get one for you and 5 other people, right? So I put a thing on the door that says 24. And then before we open, I open the door and I go, I will have 24. And it is 1 per household.
Mhm.
That's it. Because not only are you competing for them, but scalpers are competing for them too, man.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to go, me and Kyle's girlfriend, and then my buddy, we're all going to get in line, pretend we don't know each other, and buy the first 5 with no warranties, no games, no controllers, no nothing. And we're going to go home and put them all on the same eBay account. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So you have to try to, like, we tried to play defense as much as we could.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I don't really give a shit. But, but the problem is like, you know, hardware attached is going to be the thing. They're going to hound you for warranties. They're going to hound you for game warranties.
Oh yeah.
Whereas, you know, now that half of these games are going to be game key cards, can you really warranty a game? But it's going to be a shit show. You know, the lines are going to be down the block wherever they are, because everybody's going to assume they're going to be able to get one. You're not. I pray that GameStop managers will be smart enough. Even if GameStop corporate says, don't put a sign on your door with the number, go fuck yourself. I'm putting a sign on the door with the number on it. You're crazy.
I feel like that's probably something they would say to not do. To be fair,
No, but remember in the past they would let us do it. They even gave us like printouts to fill in the number and hang on the door.
Sometimes, yeah.
But that was when it was run by someone who's not an insane
dog food person. They did that also a lot with like
person.
Amiibos, when the Amiibos were a big deal.
Yeah, that was a big deal. But this man, all he cares about is dog food and letting TikTokers make fun of his employees. So what does he give a shit about what you do?
Well,
it's gonna be a shit show. And then here's the other thing I was talking about with my contact. When this wave is gone, you know, within 5-10 minutes, whatever, the next couple waves aren't gonna be you can walk in and buy a Switch.
No.
They're going to be, it's online only or web in store, and it's $800, and it's a system, a warranty, 2 games, and blah, 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 and blah,
probably
blah, blah.
Another controller.
No discount of any kind. It's just these numbers added together. Mm-hmm. But when this initial wave sells out and does not have any attach on it, outside of maybe a controller, maybe Donkey Kong, right?
Mm-hmm.
When they don't sell I think the warranties are $60 for it. I think it's like 60 and 75 or 75 and not. You know what? Hang on. I can tell you what it is. $55 and $75 for 1 year, 2-year warranty for the Mario Kart bundle. When they don't sell those, and when the warranty attach on the system is 10% at best, every single bundle after comes with one.
Oh, absolutely.
When they don't sell a controller with everyone, or they don't sell a pair of straps with everything, every bundle comes with one.
Or the case.
So you're talking $500, $550. Though they won't throw in Donkey Kong because they would make you buy Donkey Kong separate, but they would pick another Switch 2 game. Street Fighter would be a perfect one for them to force you to buy with it, because there's going to be a lot of copies of that, but nobody's going to buy it.
There will be. Yeah.
So we're talking, you're going to go in there and like 2 weeks later, when do you guys get more Switches? Well, we're not going to have any individuals, but you can buy a bundle for $850. And guess what? None of it's returnable because it's a single SKU in the system. And if you return one thing, you return all of it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a damned if you do, you're fucked if you don't kind of a thing for getting these Switch reserves.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not going to be good, but like, to go back on the transfer thing.
Oh yeah,
like,
and that doubles down on the worst part.
That is going to be terrible because like Nintendo already had, like, I just go back to the 3DS and like every transfer process for that system from regular to XL to the new 3DS XL was terrible and took forever.
Everyone would want to do it in our store, and we're like, you're more than welcome to. Our Wi-Fi is very bad.
That's the other, it's dependent on the Wi-Fi in whatever store you're going to. Now, obviously, that's probably been improved in some stores since you and I work there, but
you would hope so.
It's not going to be everywhere.
But it's
you think the store out in the middle of nowhere is going to be having great Wi-Fi to do that transfer? Probably not.
It's going to create one hell of a logjam for pickups at midnights.
It's going to be bad.
The hope you would have would be
nobody goes to midnight.
No. My thought would be the only real way to do this would be like, you buy the system, you take it home, you come back with your receipt within a week, and trade in your thing, and we can refund you the difference or something like that.
That would be the smart
That's
way
the
to
smartest
do it.
possible way to do it. Because then you're banking on people forgetting or just not doing it, or they don't have the time to do it.
Yeah.
Anything like that. But then it cuts out everybody trying to do it in the fucking store.
But that also, you're also hoping that GameStop would be a smart company that would make such a decision. They're not a smart company
It's not
that
even
would
that.
make such a decision.
It's hoping that they would care enough to do that. They don't.
They fucking don't care.
No. I just think like that would solve a lot of problems, because here's the other problem. How charged are the Switch 2s going to be out of the box? Are they going to be charged enough
I don't know.
to do a system transfer? You can't even move your SD card over. You can't use your SD card in here. You're going to have to do that at home anyway.
Yeah.
There's so many things that are not like, at least you can do it, but it doesn't feel like it's going to be as easy as a DS was.
It doesn't. I don't know. I still have to look and see. I'm curious to see what the transfer process will be. But I told you, like, even if I were to get a reserve and wanted to do that transfer process, I would not put the GameStop person through it, and I wouldn't like. I will eat the trade-in bonus.
There are going to be a lot of people who want to trade in at the same time they're buying that system,
Absolutely.
and it's going to create an awful logjam at midnight to do this.
Because I like, again, like, midnights are not a thing anymore, but this is something that people will show up for on midnight to get this system.
You might as well do it. And to be fair,
they were smart. They're doing it in the summer.
To be fair, it'll clear out a lot of the pain in the ass problems from the next day.
It will.
But
that's for sure.
It's still going to be a very bad couple days for these people.
It's going to be a bad weekend.
Sorry for all you people.
It's going to be a bad weekend.
And then it'll be bad weeks after.
We did not get any write-ins about it yet, but I feel like the next time we record, we will have some write-ins about this transfer thing.
Oh, for sure.
So,